Okay, so here's a question for you. Who is the most powerful man in the free world? Well, it's the President of the United States of America, right? But why? Is it because he holds the highest rank in the United States government? Or is it because he's the commander-in-chief of the mightiest military in the world? After all, he controls the world's biggest stash of nuclear bombs, and he can nuke any country in the grovel if he wants to. Now here's the thing. When we think about power, we normally think about physical force. It's not surprising, since it's the kind of power that's most intuitive and obvious. And yet, there is a higher form of power that's even stronger than physical force. Soft power. What is soft power? Well, to understand what it is, let's first look at its opposite, hard power. What's hard power? It's coercion. Hard power is about using physical force to coerce your enemy into obedience. When you beat your enemy into surrendering to your will, you're exerting hard power on him. Simple, right? So okay, if hard power is about force and violence, soft power is the opposite. It's the ability to get the other party to do what we want by co-opting instead of coercing him. Co-option, not coercion. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like persuasion, right? Now let's ask that question again. Why do you think the President of the United States is so powerful? This may sound surprising to you, but it's true. The President has more soft than hard power. In fact, the President's real power lies in his ability to persuade, much more than his ability to launch wars. In fact, as Richard Elliot Neustadt once said, presidential power is not the power to direct, it's the power to persuade. The job of the President of the United States is mainly to exercise soft power. It's about persuasion all day long. And here's what's even more remarkable. The President often persuades even before he says a single word. Often, he gets what he wants even before he has to ask for it. How does he do that though? Well, let's take a closer look. Perhaps more than anyone in the world, the President has an arsenal of persuasion assets he can use. One of these persuasion assets is the Oval Office. Weird as it seems, but many say that the Oval Office has its own powers in a mystical sort of way. The Oval Office has been, after all, the working space for the most powerful men in history. So here's the thing, no matter if you love or hate the President, it's hard not to feel humbled by his sheer majesty and prestige. Indeed, inside this hollowed room, even the worst of the President's critics and foes would tremble with awe and reverential fear. I mean, imagine for a moment you're inside the Oval Office. Standing alone, you're facing the President who is sitting behind his famous oak desk. Now tell me, how powerful and persuasive do you feel? Not very, right? Now how about the President's power against you, you think? Probably up to a godlike levels, yes? And that's not all. The most amazing thing about this is that it happens even before he said a single word to you. So here's the point I'm making. Soft power trumps hard power. Smart leaders know this. Throughout history, indoctrination always takes precedence over war, because only when soft power fails that coercion through violence is an option. Next, let's switch gears and see how this insight is useful in our lives. So the question is this. How do you win the persuasion game even before you say a single word? Let's go through an example. I want you to first think of a person you want to persuade. Are you imagining this person in your mind? Okay, good. The first step is simple. Ask him to come to you. Because if he agrees, he's implicitly admitting his lower status. He may be unaware of this, of course, but this happens on a subconscious level. So he may not even know it, but his behavior and thinking is shaped by this subordination. And when he's in your space, here's what happens. You are now controlling his environment and by extension, his level of comfort. Now in any social setting, the most powerful party is the one who is most at ease. By controlling your mark's comfort level, therefore, you're controlling his power. If you're sitting, make him stand. If you're letting him sit, make him sit on a small chair. And that's not all. Every item in your space should communicate a narrative, the narrative that he is beneath you. Take, for example, your desk. Physically, your desk is what separates you from your mark. But mentally, however, it represents a barrier that he has to overcome to reach you. Again, these are markers of subordination that will work on him subconsciously. Even how close he is to you is symbolic of the power you have over him. Have you ever watched the videos of Putin talking to his minions at the onset of the Ukrainian war? People often joke about how he sits on 20-foot tables and how he probably had to shout for those at the other end to hear him. What they don't understand is what Putin did was a projection of power and authority. It's a way of him saying to the world, you can't fucking touch me. Now here's the thing. Love or hate him, there's lots to learn about power from a tyrant and a psychopath like Putin. And here's the lesson I want you to learn today. Construct your environment in a way that favors you. Choose your setting thoughtfully. Every item should communicate your power, authority, dominance, and control. And then, let your mark come to you in your Oval Office. And you would have won, and you won't even have to say a single word.